Hey,
Howdy, how are you?
I'm good.
How was your meeting?
It was good.
Excellent.
Yeah. There were only, I think we were five, maybe six.
So is that I guess it'll only be what, the third one you've had of that group?
No, this is the second one of Group B.
Okay, yeah. So it's a bit early to imagine a trend. So six. So how many turned up the first time?
I don't remember. I feel like it was more.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what you'd expect, actually, isn't it? Some drop out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also, I'm not sure if, since I stopped announcing it by email or the email list and only through Substack, I'm I'm not sure if everybody is getting.
Mm.
Well, honestly, I'm also had some issues with my email as well. So
Okay, yeah.
people were reporting it going to, junk mail or stuff like this, and some people didn't even receive the email. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, the junk mail thing. Yeah, I think when you send out to a list, it's much more likely to go into junk mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because that's what the spammers do. Yeah, but yeah. Um, so have you got your mailing list as Substack members?
Yeah. Now I kind of sent out the last email to the actual list that I had that of people who said they were interested. I've sent several emails, and then the last one I kind of announced that I won't send any more emails, and the only announcements will be through Substack.
Hmm.
And those who show up are those who are supposed to show up, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, you would expect the committed ones. Yeah,
Mm. I'm surprised there's no
just
one here today.
yeah.
Saturday, I feel like that's a day where people might have time, or maybe that's just me.
Well, cons considering you and me, as you and me, there's no one here,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nobody turned up. Yeah. But that's only the first time. And last time, I think one person turned up, and then a couple turned up really late. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this quandary. So if nobody turns up, how long do I wait before I turn it off? And of course, some people turn up. I've said to anybody, come and go as you please. So I kind of got to be here.
Yeah.
Turn up later. Yeah, but it's all good.
It might be this daylight saving thing, though.
Oh, look, I think that time zone thing certainly, if it's if it's not actually a problem, it's a great excuse, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't mind those who turn up, and those who don't. No worries.
yeah,
It's funny, it's like I don't meditate these days, but when I'm sitting here by myself, it kind of happens. Uh,
yeah. It's nice. So last meeting, I think I kept getting the same problem that you were getting when you tried to join my meeting. Whereas I saw that I would keep signing in as Vince.
I did see Vince turn up, and I wondered if that was you or who it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it let us both in.
Yeah, that was weird. I just got the option of um grabbing host or staying as co-host.
Oh, okay. See that. So what? Yeah. So I wonder why when I joined and you were host, it just knocked you off straight away.
Yeah,
Didn't give
yeah,
you an option. At least I didn't see an option. That doesn't mean wasn't given one.
yeah,
But I was thinking about that earlier tonight, because I mean I've got the videos that turn up on Zoom, and I could watch the meeting, but I haven't bothered to watch it at all.
yeah.
So it's like I get notifications about your Substack uh, uh, conversations, etc. And I did go and look at one couple of weeks ago, maybe. After the first one, there was a little bit of feedback, and then you asked for feedback, but didn't get a lot. There was just one person that was a bit active, but I haven't been
Yeah.
back. And I was wondering whether it's because I'm just lazy, or or really
It's just no motivation.
it's just really weird to see. I am so busy all the time doing nothing. Or not doing nothing, but it's life's very busy. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not very often alone. That's an interesting one too. I mean, my wife is such a big part of my life. It's like we're together all day, every day, pretty much, except when
yeah,
it's golf or whatever. But um, yeah, we do fill each other's lives somewhat. And these days she has lists of jobs to do.
for you.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
she does it too, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Clean up my workshop is a big one that's happening at the moment, and that's a mighty job. Mm.
yeah. I kind of get what you're saying. Like it feels like if we're discussing it here and now, I can't remember anything that I do almost.
Mm.
But at the same time, there is doing.
Happening anyway. Yeah, that's one of the things that's really different these days. I don't feel apologetic about not being polite or
Mm,
uh, yeah, it just is the way it is. It's rather funny to think that we used to apologize about what was there.
yeah, yeah. I think you know there is this. I think there is this part or phase of this. At least there was for me, and it seems there is for most. Is the recognition of where there is this um, skewing of behavior and how that makes us not free. Like
Mm,
it it shapes or somehow limits behavior in a way
mm,
that feels unnatural.
mm. Well, it never used to feel unnatural, but now it does.
Yeah, because you've recognized it probably, or at least that's how I see it.
Yeah, it feels like an invisible manipulation. But on the other
Yeah.
hand, to simply resist it is to be as much in its grips as to go along with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying resist. I'm saying don't
Yeah, yeah.
automatically
No, I get
get
what
sucked
you mean.
into that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, all I'm saying is it's a potential trap that you could.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Hey, John,
Hey, John.
I see that you read the story that you inspired today.
Uh, the story, well, there were a couple of stories recently, and I've read a few stories recently, but the most recent one today was, you know, is the eye always present?
Oh, that was today, was it? Yeah.
And for me, that was today. I don't know when you sent it, but
Right.
are you talking about the addiction one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that.
Was that yesterday? Was it?
Golly, the day's emerging.
Yeah.
Yesterday, or the day before, maybe.
That'll do. Recently, it'll do.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing bits and pieces may or may not relate. That's all. It was just inspired, and out it came the way it did. So,
Yeah, well, thank you. I did kind of, yeah, I kind of felt that, and you're right. Some bits of it resonated, and other bits didn't. But it was enough to, yeah, yeah, hit the mark enough. Thank you.
so how have you been traveling lately?
Oh well, up and down, up and down. Uh, yeah, I was just doing the dishes and thinking about, how I'd comment. Well, it's funny because, as you know, I've been to two weekends which are run by an organisation that deal with um, families who are supporting a family member with dependence issues, alcohol or drugs. And it's funny because, I don't know, it'd be interesting to get your take, Maris's take on this too. It's almost like living in two worlds, in that, um, living with someone who's got substance dependency issues, and all the work around it. I don't know how to articulate this really, but well, it's just working and living in a world that, um, I don't know, I'm a bit tired. Can I articulate this? Anyway, it's the world that most people recognize, I think. Um, and then I come to these groups, and the whole question about, is there really an I? In that other world, there's no question of, is there an I? Yes, there's an I, there's a them, and we're, and the them and the I, we have significant issues to work through, and it kind of almost feels like I have to operate on that level. Is
Mm.
any of this making sense?
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I understand
Yeah.
what you're
And
saying.
then I come to these groups and there's completely different kind of framework, which particularly from Marius, I get this as, questioning the reality of all of that, which I get too. I get too. Maybe not as well as you two do, but I do get it. So yeah, I suppose just that sort of sense of inhabiting two worlds and maybe even needing to inhabit two worlds. Anyway, something like that.
Yeah, there is a what that sparks here is that there is an interesting aspect to this, and what turned up now that kind of came in from the side was the idea that part of that other world, that old world, it isn't that you're needing to step in it and live it, but you need to remember how to communicate in it. And you need to
Yeah.
remember how to communicate at the level that the other, or, not, well, level's a shitty way to put it, but you know what I mean?
No, I get what you're trying to say, and that rings true. Yep.
Mm.
Especially on these weekends, where people are wrestling with, yeah,
Yeah. So,
with fear and love and, all those nitty-gritty things in the form of, you know, a substance dependent family member.
yeah,
Just you wouldn't wouldn't come close to sort of saying, I mean, I thought about it, but where is the me in all of this? But I wouldn't. It would almost be an affront to them to suggest.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
right. Right, true. Now, it's also worth, and I'm maybe telling you something you already know, but it's also worth recognizing that when you say they're very much living in a world run by itself, it's much more accurate to say that they're living in a world run by the illusion of a self, not
right.
not an actual self. So they, well, of course, you can't take that illusion away from them. That's not your place to do that anyway. But yeah, so how do you relate to them in a way that they understand and still be authentic to yourself? And that is possible. You don't have to deny one to be the other, and so on. That's not
Well,
the.
I mean, I could get caught up in that kind of thinking too. I do, especially when it comes to my son.
Yeah, of course, and of course
Yeah,
it's really super tricky because we're talking about emotions, and we're talking about justifiable, or at least according to the story, they're very justifiable emotions, and
yeah,
it's not just like to tell somebody that they're hurting themselves with a story they tell about the situation. It's inappropriate.
yeah.
You
It's just not helpful.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But when you do see, part of what we don't want it to happen is we create a separation, between us and them. In a way, we want the opposite of that to occur. But the problem of creating, of having them as them who think like that or whatever, creates one in us. Exactly. We've got to have a place to respond from to do that. So it's a trap, isn't it? So can you relate to them as if you had a self-controlling the show, but without one actually doing it?
yeah.
I think, John, that outside of these like I see this happening a lot, so I'm just guessing here. But people come to these meetings and through the discussion kind of sees things a bit more clearly, or the framework of the group is kind of um, slowing down the story of the me while you're here,
Yeah.
because it's continuously pointing to something. And then when the meeting is over, you go back into normal day-to-day stuff and you stop looking, and or maybe you look, maybe you're asking where is the me here, but that can also be a that can be a doing of the self, so to speak. And what I mean by that is the self is asking the question rather than seeing the self asking the question.
Yeah, I think you wrote on that sometime this week, didn't you? Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And the mind usually creates this. I also said this before, but I'll say it again. The mind usually creates this sense of progress or understanding. Like it mistakes direct looking with understanding. So it conceptualizes what we're talking about when we're looking, and it ticks the box off of understanding, and then stores it in the insight box or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I can certainly, sorry, am I interrupting?
No, I just want to just um, point your attention to that looking is never a conclusion. It's
No,
never
well, I
packaging
agree.
in something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with that. And in fact, my experience would be pretty much what I said before in Two Worlds is that when I am uh, aware of what's looking out, uh, uh, there's very little, I can't, there are no conclusions to be had. It's just something that's happening and all sorts of, you know, things, thing, the thingness of things gets very um, vague, you know. And I'm not trying to make any, there's no mystical experience here, but when I'm in the present moment, aware of whatever it is that's looking out, not at things, but just aware of it's being the looking, then it's a present moment thing, and I can't say too much about it. And then, of course, that disappears, and then I'm back into being John relating to the myriad other things in my experience, um, whether they're people or thoughts or feelings or sensations.
And what is actually happening then when you're back into John?
Well, I think I'm someone separate from the things that I'm seeing and interacting with. Yeah.
One can also say that you suddenly believe that you are the interpretation of what is going on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
And
I'm
then
back
the
into
next,
believing that I know that I think I know what's going on, I guess. Uh yeah.
and that what's going on is about a John.
Yeah, I don't sort of I suppose it must be. Yeah.
Oh, hang on, don't fall into that one. Don't go to a logical conclusion.
Mm.
What's your experience? Do you remember? Do you remember an experience that happened as a John, or do you only remember experience, or do you only remember that an experience happened? Like when you read.
Oh no, well, I guess I have experiences that have an interpretation, and you know, um, I've threaded them together to make a John. Yeah, for sure.
The narrative is told through John's voice, so to speak.
Yeah, it mostly seems narrative about other things, but really, um, yeah, I guess it is a narrative about me,
And
about the world.
especially when it comes to relationships, like your son, for example,
Yep.
who who exactly is having a relationship if it's not about anyone or told through the narrative of anyone? So it has to be believed that there is a me relating to a son.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is what now we're touching on what's can be the difficult part of this whole thing, and that is letting go of that relationship, the internal one, the narrative. If- Because if there's somebody who has a relationship to someone, it it, it implies a me here. That's difficult when stuff shows up. If there's pain,
Yeah.
if there is difficult situations, things get sticky
The closer the relationship, I think, the more difficult it gets.
for sure.
Yeah.
Same thing with, you know, the emotional experience around that. If there is something coming up and the emotion isn't wanted on some level, it's automatically claimed, it's owned as soon as it's not just a passing experience. As soon as there is a clinging or avoidance to something, it
Yeah.
suddenly becomes owned. It suddenly becomes yours, about you.
Right.
And so there is a me again.
Yep. I can see that.
So all of these things, they create the cage of me.
But that cage isn't in thought, can't be seen in thought, can't be seen in the narrative. It's the feeling about it that is the bars of the cage. the ownership of it, the identification. And it's invisible to the mind. There you go. That's a good one. I'll put that on a T-shirt. Mm.
The glue that is you.
Hey, I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah, literally. I love the double meanings. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's invisible to the mind, Vince, to the thinking mind.
Mm. Because it's a feeling of ownership. That's the glue. And that's also the creator of the self. Because that's the glue. The glue is the illusion of a self, the creation that happens. But it's interesting to consider, when Marius was talking a minute ago, I was thinking, I wonder which one comes first. Like, that's crazy to start with, but it's like, is a self created as the triggering happens, or the resistance to what comes up. So presumably the triggering excites an uncomfortable feeling, and then we go into a routine to avoid it or distract from it. But then what we discover is, we spiral off at that point, so that whatever we come up with to avoid it seems to be the cause of the unpleasantness. But it kind of happens before that, I think.
The avoidance is the claiming of the unpleasantness.
Right.
That's what puts the ownership on it.
Yes. Yeah. So if there's unpleasantness there, but no claiming of it, no ownership, no identification with it, it doesn't produce suffering. It's just the first arrow, and it's just whatever that is. Whether that be from the outside or the inside. Even if it's there as a result of something, some potential that gets triggered, it's the same process.
I think I need to concretize this with an example of something. Um, so let's just take before I went to the weekend, the last one. No, the first one. My son was really low, and I mean, it triggered a whole sort of cascade of emotions in me. I wasn't sure that I'd come home to him alive.
Mm.
I mean, that is a fear. I don't think anyway, but anyway.
The
So
responsibility, anyway. Yeah.
okay, so that's an example of, yeah, well, I suppose if I follow it all the way back, I mean, I'm creating most of that myself.
Yeah, but see, there's a
But
there's
yeah,
there's a world of difference between it happening and between it happening and it happening to you.
Right. So if it was happening to someone else's son, then I wouldn't be,
No, I'm not talking about that. It's the same circumstances, the same situation. So you've got your son is low,
yeah,
right? And then stories turn up about the possible consequences of that.
yeah.
right? And that makes you feel wretched, those stories, right? Now, what I'm saying is those stories can turn up just because of that's what gets triggered in you, right? And you see them as just stories that are there,
Right.
right? They're not they're not owned by you and they don't have control over you, right? So consequently, you don't have to feel wretched as a result of those stories being there. However, that might produce another story, which is you feel guilty about the fact that you don't feel wretched about the fact that that's there. So
Right.
it gets complicated.
You win either way. You get to feel guilty either way.
Or not, you see.
Or not.
I can't imagine feeling guilty about any story that turns up. I can't control the fucking things. They just turn up and they can
Right.
be crazy, you know? So where's the connection to me? It's no different to feeling the breeze on my cheek when I go outside. I'm not going to
Yeah.
stand there and shout at the breeze. I don't want you. You're unpleasant, you bastard.
Yeah. Somehow I can see individual thoughts like that, like the weather. I've heard you and others talk about that, but there's something about, I suppose it's just the emotional content,
Yeah, and
about the stories.
it's
Yep.
designed to hook you in, isn't it?
Yeah, and it does. Yep.
Mm. And because it's you that creates them and it knows where all your buttons are, it's extra good at doing that.
No, this is I'm hearing this multiple times now. There is no you creating this. The story is the you. And there is a belief that you are the story, so to speak, that there is a you, because the
Yeah.
story is told in the voice of a you or through the context of a you.
Yeah.
There is no one here. There is no you. There is no sun. There is just a made up relationship in thought and a whole lot of emotional conditioning tied to that construct or programmed into it.
Mm.
This is this is most people don't want to hear this. Most people want to keep the you and the relationships and all the good stuff and just get rid of the bad stuff. But it doesn't work like that. Either you see through the whole illusion of there being anyone here, or you don't.
Yep.
That's bleak, isn't it?
For the mind, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only difference between it being somebody else's kid, some stranger that you don't know, who's got these dependencies, and your son, the only difference between those two is that you've got a story about this one being your son. But this is a difficult one for me. I I want to rescue you. I want to say,
Yeah,
you know I
don't
do.
do it.
Uh,
Don't do it, Vince.
Oh,
It's like Vince likes to push you towards the edge, and then when you're too close, he'll pull you back into safety.
oh yeah, I'm a pussy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
You're the good cop and bad cop. You do it well, you two.
Uh,
No. Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you two.
Oh, yeah, good.
What else is there to say after all that?
Yeah. But you can't imagine what it's going to be like, so don't even bother to try.
well, you kind of can.
Well, I think I have glimpses. I am, yeah. I mean, I know, yeah, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. We still need some kind of mechanism to get stuff done. Um, yeah, I can't. Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
it's about the belief, isn't it? Really,
Yeah,
operating
plural.
in the world and yeah. Anyway,
See, part of the trick is that the trap is that we think we can control which stories we accept and which ones we don't. And up to a certain point, it's just better to reject all stories, and then later on, something else can happen with it. But it's that when I say reject the stories, it's not the stories that we want to reject at all. You know, it's we see them, they happen, they just happen. We can't do anything about them turning up. It's how we relate to them. So it's a case of some will suck us in and some won't.
yeah,
But you can start to see the hmm, architecture, right? So you can see that your son, as you perceive your son, is an image, right?
I've
Oh,
created my son.
yeah.
Yeah,
So to say it differently, if I were to meet your son, I would have a completely different
yeah,
image, and
that's
none of
true.
them, right?
Yep.
And then there's the roles and relationship between the image of ourself, of the self, and the image of the other person.
Hmm.
So to see that that is just a construct, not real, is also something that can happen when you're with your son. That that challenging thought, the thought that challenges that belief can happen when you're sitting across from your son, and the image can suddenly be seen as an image, and relating still happens, but it's just what should I say? It's image free relating. It's just responding, so to speak.
Yeah. instead of reacting from these
Roles, yeah.
roles or stories or whatever. Yeah.
Roles are essentially stories.
Yeah.
That you are his father, so you should do this and you should do that and not do this and not do that, and all of these kind of hidden beliefs about how a father should be.
Yeah.
And even worse, how a good father is compared to a not good father. And all of those things like responsibility and weird shit that gets woven into that.
Yep.
So we're not authentic when we're acting out of a role. We're just writing a story. And authenticity is incredibly powerful stuff, and it invites authenticity from those we're interacting with. So the relationship happens at a different level. And even with the other one not knowing, not having any idea, they can't help but respond to your authenticity.
Yeah. Even there is no relationship from where I'm speaking about there. That's the whole point of removing the images.
Mm.
Even if there is authenticity, there is what authenticity means is that you don't behave from a set of rules and conditions.
There's relating but no relationship. Is
Yes.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's seeming relating, but
Mm,
there's,
good.
yeah,
Mm.
even even the words that you're conveying to the other part, the son, for example, isn't the words that he seemingly receives. The meaning that you're sending out isn't the meaning that he's interpreting. He's interpreting his meaning of the word you're saying.
Yep. Yep. We come across that quite often.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Going off my son, I'm just talking about roles and things and stories. I have my brother coming to visit from interstate tomorrow, and I mean we've seen each other, of course, but over the years, but we haven't spent any sort of time together apart from a couple of hours at a Christmas gathering for over 50 years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens
Mm.
because, the term brother doesn't, I mean, yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting.
How far apart are you in ages?
He's 18 months younger than me.
Okay, so when you were kids together.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Oh well, you can look forward to some triggering.
Yeah, we've had sort of very different lives, but anyway, it'll
Mm,
be interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
But there's been a bit of story making around all of that in my head. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I remember one afternoon with my brother, and we after my father died, and we were kind of relating how our relationship to our father, and wow, it was like amazing how he thought his relationship was how I thought my relationship was, and I couldn't believe he thought his relationship was like that. It was like, yeah, we had two totally different stories about how he
Yeah.
was with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying to him, you were his favorite, and he said, no, you were his favorite. Yeah, but it was him. He was his favorite. Yeah.
He didn't like any of you guys.
Probably. Yeah.
During the meeting I had earlier today, we were talking about, or one thing we were talking about was how concepts create experience or seeming experience. So, for example, the one example I offered was without the concept of freedom and bondage, if we never, if those words or concept was never invented, how would experience be if there wasn't
Mm,
an idea of freedom or bondage or wrong or right or good and bad? It's only because we've learned those concepts and the meaning behind them that we have can have both those experiences.
mm. I remember a story from a long time ago, so it might not be that accurate, but apparently there was no word to describe a particular color. Maybe it was blue. The sky was blue. Okay, so there was no word blue to describe the color of the sky. And when the word got invented, people's experience of the sky was different because of the word. So they saw it as blue now because the word was there. Not before that, it was a shade of grey or something. I don't know the exact thing, but anyway, but the message was that the power of the word actually changed the experience. The senses was perceived differently.
Yeah, I've heard the same things said of indigenous tribes confronting white men for the first time, that they had no concept, no word for it. So there's some suggestion that they didn't even see them.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think there are tribes who doesn't have a concept of I or me, but us.
mm,
So they never got lost in separateness or the illusion of. So what have we never learned? I don't want.
Or I want.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if there was no I don't want, would there automatically not be an I want?
Yeah. I was gonna say I think I want is just born out of I don't want.
Yeah, they're the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the value in seeing, or one of them, the value in seeing how concepts creates experience. Um, totally lost what I was gonna say there. I don't remember.
Our values create experience.
No, the value of.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can retrieve it.
Concepts creating experience.
I don't want, I want.
Oh yeah, so um, also creates, it also shows it creates the illusion of the option of something else than what is, or the seeming option, the belief that they could be different, the belief that we have control, that we can change, that we can do better next time or choose differently, that there is somebody at the center doing any of this. Lost John.
Hmm. It's amazing how The only tie we've got to a self is at a mental level. It's purely conceptual, right? The only tie we've got there. And yet we have got evidence after evidence after evidence all day, every day with our direct experiencing of something else. And yet that one single mental tie seems to have more power than all the other stuff put together.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by that. That's just absolutely amazing, isn't it?
It's a it has been a unquestioned belief
Yes.
our whole life, and so deeply ingrained.
Not just for our life, for generation after
Oh
generation,
yeah.
generation. Yeah. But it's imbued with that power. It's not it's not inherently in it, it's given to it.
Yeah, I think that power you're speaking of just lies in not questioning it from the
Yes.
start.
Yeah. Well, even embracing it rather than not just not questioning it, going as far as to
Yeah, but I think, and I don't know, but what comes up here is that at that stage of development, there isn't really a choice to embrace or not. There is just
yes.
learning.
Yeah. Mm. That's your internet, John.
Yes, I lost my Wi-Fi connection. So I'll have to reconnect it sometime.
Oh, you're on your phone now, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking about the the affection you feel towards your son or your daughter or your child or whoever. And we're talking not specifically about you, but about anybody.
Yeah.
Right? That affection, if you remove the story about however you want to put it, they belong to me, they're mine, they're family, they're we're related, all of that. If you got rid of all of that, and a stranger came to live with you, you would have quite similar feelings towards that stranger. Presumably, well, they wouldn't have to be likable even because often our own kids are not that likable. But essentially, yeah, yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
even the concept of a stranger is still an image. And
yes, again,
so what we
that's
want is no
another
image,
story.
void of
Yeah,
image.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we categorize all the time, don't we? So automatically. So if we can't not do it, and I imagine we can't, like we're just going to do it. Every single word we say is putting something in a category. So again, if it happens and it's seen to be happening. This is not good enough. If it's just happening, it's quite a different experience than if it's happening to me. But all the stuff we're saying shouldn't be shouldn't be there, or is wrong, or whatever. It's not. None of that's wrong. None of it shouldn't not be there, or whatever. If it's there, it's there, and if it's not, it's not. That's simple as that.
Yeah, but you're speaking now. You're speaking now. You're convoluting. Let me just say two levels, right? So
Mm,
from a higher level, everything is perfectly in place. Nothing is wrong.
mm.
But if we're going to have this group context of awakening or whatever,
Yeah,
then we need to
start
speak
before
from the
you
dream, right?
awake. Yeah.
I reckon that this is I can even sense that change here happening, and I see it in other, people who speak about this, that there is this process of moving more and more into this radical view of there is nothing to do and all of that. And that is true, but it's not very helpful for the seeker, I think. I don't
Mm,
know, but radical non-duality in that sense, it is, it's true. Because nobody's doing anything, and this whole any experience is perfect as it
mm,
is.
mm.
Even to say it's perfect is kind of going too far. It just is.
Mm. But you're kind of referring to, or at least the what comes up here that triggers is that happenings happen and there's no judgment about it. And that judgment would be a connection to that from you
Yes,
to it kind of thing. So there's no
yes,
judgment. It's just happening. Yeah.
yes. The judgment is ownership.
Yeah.
Judgment as in things might or should be a different way. Do you mean?
Yeah. And more.
Any position,
Yeah. Anywhere on the good bad scale, right wrong scale,
Right.
anywhere.
even even
Doesn't-
interpreting what is going on, even making
That's
up
the
a
same thing.
meaning.
Yeah. Every single word that we know has a judgment implicit in it. Bit hard to see with some, but it's definitely there always. At least I invented that, so it must be right. Even silly little words like prepositions like in and out. When you think about it, in is better than out, isn't it? Is that going too far?
But
You know,
just
Very,
wrapping it up in
white is
something.
better than black. Pick anything, and there you'll find some morality involved in it.
But not so that is one way of judgment, the more obvious one. And then there is, as soon as you label this anything, you constrict this to something,
Mm,
and, and that is a type of judgment as well, in the sense of you've just you just um, made something out of nothing, so to speak, and
yeah,
and the belief in that being accurate is a judgment.
yeah. And you froze the actual thing.
Yeah, which
Stop
isn't a thing.
movement and snapshotted it. Yeah. So would we go as far? And it's kind of it is part of my experience. I think as well. Let's see what comes out. But essentially, if there's no narrative about something, if there is just direct experience happening, we don't know it's happening. We have to know that we know to know it's happening. So if it's just happening, nothing is written into memory. That explains why time goes so fast.
Because what does it mean to know?
Yes, that stops time.
There needs to be something to know. So you need to package
Mm.
this for the mind to grasp that something to know.
So if if somebody gets lost in thoughts and we can describe that process as them identifying with they've created a self and they're selfing, if you like. And then they realize that's happening and they're practiced enough to not judge it. They just see it. Oh, it's like that, a bit of a shock. Oh, it's happening. And then it's not happening. And we've gone from identifying to not identifying. That made it sound like not identifying was a thing, but you know what I mean? We stopped identifying. And it's just the subtle little process that happened. And people will ignore that they stopped and go, oh, I did. I failed. I identified. Instead of appreciating that they also didn't identify Unless, of course, they still did identify, they could stop and go, I stopped, and feel good about it. But if it was just enough shock for it to suddenly dissolve and they're back into direct experiencing, I wrote a story the other day, and I don't know if it's come out yet or not. I should keep a better eye on because I've got them stacked up ahead of time. And I wrote this story about all the times during the day when we don't identify with the self quite spontaneously. All the times in our life, like, if we're under an anesthetic or whatever, but there are many moments that everybody
That,
experiences that.
that came out today.
Oh, right, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I could relate to that, except that the mind doesn't register those moments because, well, it's got nothing to register, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It needs a narrative to put something into memory, maybe. I was talking to somebody this morning about memory, and it was pretty good. What came out was along the lines of that we we tend to think of memory as purely a mental show, you know, but it's not like that. At least, the way I see it, the way I see it, I more than see it, but the way it appears to me is that when we recreate a memory, which we do, I know from reading neuroscience that we recreate. It pulls bits from all over the brain and puts them together to recreate something that we remember, and so consequently, it's never 100% purely the way what the original was. It's always a creation. But the reality is that certain kinds of memory reactivate the senses that were involved in that memory. And we do experience again what we are remembering. We don't, it's not just a mental process.
So memory's lodged in the body.
Well, no, our experience of the memory will be both mental and physical, not just mental as people see it. They, you know,
Is the physical part, or how do you know the physical part is part of the memory and not a reaction to the memory?
oh, I don't.
Yeah. And how do you know that neuroscience,
Is
the
right.
story that they are offering you, is right?
Oh, I don't. It's a good story though. I like it. Yeah. Of course, we don't know anything is right, do we? And science never claims it's right. It just says this is our current understanding.
Just wondering how you two blokes make it out the front door.
Oh, dear. Well, you think we're like in this space all the time? I don't think so. Uh,
But it's, the continuous interpreting and meaning making and judgments and all of these things that used to cage us before.
use up a lot of energy.
Yeah. So I make it out the door better than I did before.
What door?
Whatever that thing is.
Go through that hole in the wall.
So yeah, you're not stopped at the door wondering what this thing is. No.
No, never.
No, well, so going back to I mean, I don't know what your situation is, Marius. I know very little about Vince's life too, but going back to the relationship thing, um, I know you're married, Vince. So what? You're meeting a stranger every morning, or how does you know? I don't want to make that. That's not a judgment,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
don't. No, I don't take it that way. No, I get it. Yeah, I mean, you're asking me to evaluate it, and I haven't done that kind of, oh, I meet my own projection. um,
yeah, rightio.
no, 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 no. Oh, this is embarrassing, isn't it?
No,
It's
don't feel like you've got to say
you know,
anything that's
like
too revealing.
I would
Because
hate to hear this, and it's
I
not
know
the way
your
I
wife.
mean it, but she's
Your
like,
wife thinks this is a crock of shit, doesn't she?
yeah, well, to a degree, yeah.
Right.
She has been known to say that, but if I confront her with it, she says, no, it's not. But yeah,
But anyway, I mean that's neither here nor there.
yeah. But
Uh,
like this is a really weird one, and I don't want you to take me the wrong way, but so I'll explain it if I need to. But it's almost like she's a piece of furniture in the house. I don't mean it in the negative way that one might say that, but I mean the the objective nature of it is that I meet what I meet, and it changes all the time, and it's just there's no. I mean, of course I have expectations about her, but I fairly frequently get shifted around, seem to be not right.
right. Sounding pretty normal so far.
Yeah, yeah. But I kind of see myself in the same way, I don't see myself as much different to a chair or the table or whatever, except that I've got the ability to move around and what happens here. But again, there's a kind of an objectiveness, a weird objectiveness about the whole thing.
Right.
It just is what it is, and it's never the same as the moment before. So she's not. See, the coffee table is not just a coffee table. It's a coffee table in a room. It's a coffee table with stuff on it. It's a coffee table to be walked around. I don't climb over the top of it. I go around it. Um, so I interact with it differently, whether I come at it from the side of the room where the hall is or the side of the room where the back door is. It's different angles, different reactions, different things happen. And it's kind of no different to people. That's just the same thing. There's just something to walk around or something to relate to or whatever, you know. It just happens, but it's not me and it as much as it's the combination. So when I walk around the coffee table, it's not me walking and a coffee table there. It's a process that happens.
Here it's the significance of the relationship isn't there, so to speak. It's just more of a experiential sensing of it's more energetic, almost like analogy could be um, a video game, virtual reality video game, right? So you don't have any relationship to the characters you meet in the game, but how the characters are
You respond to.
affecting the senses, so to speak, colors the experience of the character. And and this is something I have a hard time explaining because it's, you know, I need to use concepts, but it's also a kind of a, how do you say, permeability, or
Yeah.
it isn't my energetic sense field. It's
A one.
whatever is, huh?
It's not yours. It's just a.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
seems to be, for lack of a better way to say this, it seems to be a shared one.
Mm.
So what before used to feel like what I'm feeling is my feelings. Now it seems more like, you know, one could say I can feel the other's feelings as well, but there is no other, and there is just a shared space. So the filters that used to be here, when they fall, so to speak, it's it's yeah, it's really difficult to talk about this, but
Yeah.
it's more of a
Where,
nervous
where,
system
where there seem
experience.
to be clear boundaries, it's much more. Yeah. You would use that word permeable.
Yeah,
Permeability. Yeah. So it's not as defined, and yeah.
and so that colors the experience. There's no story about why I feel this, or like, because there's no ownership of the feeling. It's just a shared coloring of the space. It's starting to sound mystical. I don't mean it to, but it's really tricky to.
No. I think I'm getting the flavour of what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I use the word objective. You know, there's a flavour, an objective flavour. But when you talked about sharing, it sounded like the same thing, the same kind of thing. It's just like everything's involved. There's no personal aspect to it.
Yeah, that might be, and I don't know, but like if you want to try to put an understanding to it, it's really like that all the time, that the nervous system is always sensing everything, but it's the mind's beliefs and assumptions that is creating a seeming boundary of this
Mm.
is mine, that is yours, and I am here, you are there, and all of those things.
Yeah, constantly sorting things into separate categories. But this is not something you can understand. This is only something you can
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
And
And it's a
when
potential trap as well. So you know, the seeker can hear this and want to achieve that,
Yeah.
which will never happen
Yeah.
through it in that way, at least.
Yeah.
You know, in one way, and this is I don't know how. I think this is true for everyone, but I don't know. But in one way, you know, it becomes a lot more intimate, a lot more intense. So the seeker who wants to run away from the uncomfortableness, for example, meets will meet more uncomfortableness at some stage. But it is not really seen as uncomfortable, but it's intense. It can be intense.
A little bit like can be on these meetings.
Yeah. I have to drive my wife to work. So thank you for today. See
thank
you
you.
next time.
Thanks, Marius.
Mm.
It's unusual, Vince.
To just have you here.
Well, yeah, just no one else showing up.
It is a bit unusual, but yeah, it did happen. Um, a week or two ago, there was a meeting that there was. I think it was a Wednesday meeting, not this one, but only nobody turned up for the first hour, and then somebody turned up, but very few. Yes.
So you just sit in the car for an hour.
Yeah, it's my. I was just saying to Marius, I when that happens, I find myself meditating, and not officially, not formally meditating, but in a
Right.
meditative state. And I don't do that normally during my day these days. I used to a lot when I was a seeker, but now, so it's an opportunity, and it's a rather lovely one. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't mind. And because I've said to people, look, turn up when you like or go when you like, so I have to be around in case they turn up sometime into the meeting. So that's okay.
Yeah.
I could work on my computer. There's plenty of work to do, or I'll just sit here and zonk out. That's rather nice.
Yeah.
Mm. But when one person turns up, I'm really pleased. If we've got something to work on, it's good stuff, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I find the meetings have always got something for me in them, even if I don't speak. Always something juicy bit in there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. No, I've found the meetings particularly helpful over the last couple of months. They're great.
Mm. And you know, we
I particularly like how you meet. I can say this now because it's only you and me, but I love how you just meet people where they're at, and there's no clearer example of that. Every time, Vicky.
oh, yeah,
Oh God. Anyway, but you're great. You just there she is, treading the boards at home, doing laps.
yeah.
And her mind's she's barely keeping up with the mind. But anyway, I won't. There's no judgment there. She's
She's a
but
lovely
but you
girl.
you just meet her wherever she's at, and she keeps throwing these questions at you. You barely finished the answer for one, and she's got another one for you. I mean, I'm laughing because I kind of can recognise it
Yeah,
myself.
no, I get it.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
yeah. But
affection
no,
in there, I guess. Yeah, at least here there is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she makes me smile. But anyway, no, it's just great how you can do that because I don't know that everyone could.
Well, I'd love to take credit for it, but it's just the way it happens. I don't do anything, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But see, this is another aspect to it, and I'd be interested in your feedback on this one, and that is that I I constantly get really good feedback about the meetings, and that
yeah,
you know we can kind of categorize it down to kind of things where people say it's great that there's no judgment, or it's great that there's acceptance, or everybody's wonderful, or you know, all sorts of things get said about it. But what what uh, what comes out here is that it's a combination of everything that makes it like that. If it was just me here and nobody else, you know, it'd be pretty boring. So it takes other people. It's not just me by any means, but obviously I am involved in it in a certain way, you know, like as a, you call me a moderator or something if you like, but that,
yeah,
you know, so I bring something and maybe I set a tone, but others pick up on it, and that's what happens. So it's really good. Now, I I can see this is a bit of a weird one because it's almost like seeking again, but it's not really. But this idea that coming up fairly soon, you and I might not live to see it, we probably will. You know, is when AI is going to displace a huge number of people out of work, right? A lot of people. Like, I mean, we're not just talking about people where AI or large language models can work. We're talking about the fact that there's many companies producing robots. I mean, you will buy for the price of a car a humanoid robot in the next couple of years, right? And that robot will be able to do chores for you, and it'll get better and better and better and better and better and better at it over time, you know. But so essentially, what we've got at the moment, the way we've been brought up is wages equals worth. You know, it equals status. It equals all sorts of things, how we see ourselves. Self worth is a big part of what comes out of the meaning of life, which is given to us by our work. And when we're out of work and we're living on a universal basic income and people don't know what to do with themselves, a lot of people are going to be in big trouble psychologically because they have no meaning in life anymore. But
yeah,
see, what gets shown, what happens, what's revealed at these meetings is that we don't need artificial meaning in life. The life is, let's put it this way, it's full of meaning that we don't even need to articulate about, if we can view it from a appropriate perspective. So what I'd love to see, and maybe I never will, is everybody who comes to these groups at some point, if they get enough value out of the groups, go off and start their own group and spread the word. And I want it the whole world to recognize that they don't need that artificially applied meaning in life in order to feel fulfilled and good.
Yeah. 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 A couple of thoughts about that. I think, again, depends on the person I'm speaking to, but and strangely enough, I mean, I said this in the group on the weekend that, and we weren't talking, at this level, but I said, look, you wouldn't wish these sort of circumstances on anyone, and yet, even though we find ourselves here, I said I do value the fact that we are.
Yes.
We are trying to meet each other as human beings and trying to sort out what it is to be a human being in these sort of these circumstances. And everybody's circumstances is different, but there's some commonality there. And I just, it was that impulse to go a bit deeper, I think.
Yeah. Well,
Again,
as soon as you wake somebody up with that, pointing that to that kind of thing, they get in touch with it, and the feeling grows.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I think so. I think
authenticity invites authenticity.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the other thing about the AI thing is that I was just sort of mulling on the other day, and I think I was even talking to someone about it, that I just feel, I mean, I felt this for a while. I mean, a lot of people have articulated this, but I think there'll be in the best of worlds, there'll be, sharing creativity will be, in all the myriad forms that is. But I mean, I'm involved in singing, and I know other people that are involved in all sorts of creative pursuits, and somehow I don't know, I just hold out. If AI takes our work away from us, then hopefully it'll push us into our creativity.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I
If
look,
that makes any sense.
I think the doomsayers are just looking at it from one perspective, but I can see. I mean, with these stories that I create, I couldn't do that without AI, and that's brilliant, and the ease that it does it, and the ease with which I can say, no, do it again, but do it with a different tone, or do it again, and it'll do it without argument. It'll just do it again, and it'll produce pages after pages of stuff for me, and
Yeah,
and and I can tweak it, and so I can be really creative, even though it's actually putting the words together in the way it's doing the words. Um, and I reckon AI is going to unleash creativity in lots of people.
yeah. I guess for me, the creativity, particularly in connection with people connecting, there's, yeah. I mean, there was someone was quoting one of the experts that the antidote to addiction is connection. Um, And I reckon, anyway, I mean, you can make all these blanket statements,
Yeah, it's
and
a bit
I don't know.
simplistic, isn't it? But yeah,
Well, it can be, but there's like all, generalities. There's some truth to it, I suppose. But
yeah.
I like to think that there's something in that for us, but who knows?
Mm,
Yeah, but yeah, AI, yeah, taking jobs away. Yeah, yeah, you're right. A lot of people will be there'll
lost.
be a lot of turmoil around that. There'll be a disruption.
Yep. Well, we know, and it seems a bit crazy when we think about it. We go, oh, well, it won't be us. But you, there are statistics that show that a significant proportion of people that retire die within 18 months,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I imagine could be put down right down to that. Their meaning in life has been taken away.
absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. Their rhythms, their routines, everything
mm.
that's associated with that, having work. Yeah,
The connection thing is really, really interesting. Um, it's just mind-boggling, in fact, for me that we know if we remove the romanticism and the stories about stuff, right? We're born alone, we live alone, and we die alone. Full stop. No question about that, right?
yeah,
Yet, so when we feel we've got a connection with somebody, you could almost say that it's got nothing to do with them. It's that sense of connection, that sense of feeling really good about them starts with me and finishes with me.
yeah,
And so even though there's a connection there and it's a really good feeling, uh, in actual fact, it's all me.
yeah,
And they're having their own experience of that, whatever that
yeah,
is.
yeah,
So there's definitely something there. There's something happens that generates that stuff in people where they don't feel alone, they don't feel lonely. They do feel a buzz about connecting with somebody else.
yeah,
And yet there is that seeming paradox where it's obvious that it's all happening in the individual.
yeah,
I can only explain it as magic. I have no idea what's actually going on. It's
yeah, yeah,
we know we can talk about mirror neurons in the brain and all sorts of things like that. And I can say, well, I guess this is very likely an area of science that's got a lot of catching up to do that we just don't, we just never looked at this stuff, never done statistics on it or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And when I feel you don't judge me, and that's not a reason, that's just something that I can articulate. I like you. I feel close to you. And I like that. That's a good feeling.
yeah,
Wow. Imagine how different the world would be if that was that was the way everybody was. Whoa. We'd be in paradise, wouldn't we? Mm.
yeah, yeah, very close to it. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I might go to bed and have an early night
I
tonight.
think of the same thing. I think I'm
Get there.
fading here. My brain's just given out, which is maybe not a bad thing. But yeah, it's 11 o'clock down there, isn't it?
Yeah. You're already at 10 o'clock there, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tomorrow, Europe goes out of daylight saving, so they'll be an hour later. Next week for America.
Right.
I suspect that might change people coming. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it'll change things up. Anyway, thank you, Vince. Thanks again.
Thank you, John. It's been great. It's been a
Yeah,
good,
it's been good.
lovely evening. I really enjoy these, and it's
Yeah.
good. Maria's turned up with a
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
All right.
Thank you. Sleep well.
Yep. You too.